The coffee cup shattered on the floor, and behind the counter, a mother's shaking hands turned into the fists of a soldier. The night shift at Marlin's diner was slow, the kind of quiet that carries exhaustion instead of peace. Neon lights buzzed outside, casting red stripes across cracked linoleum floors. Grace, a 43-year-old single mother, wiped the counter for the 5th time, pretending not to notice her daughter, Emma, stacking napkins near the window. The girl had inherited her mother's patience and her silence. When the bell above the door jingled, laughter spilled in before the smell of whiskey did. Nathan Caro, the senator's son, strolled in with 2 friends dressed in arrogance and privilege. They treated the place like scenery, the people like props. Grace's shoulders stiffened. She'd served men like them before, the kind who smiled while breaking things they didn't have to pay for. Something in her gut whispered, tonight wouldn't end quietly. Nathan's tone turned sharp somewhere between his 3rd drink and his 1st insult. He laughed too loudly, his friends following his lead like hyenas in suits. Grace kept her voice steady, pretending not to hear the slurs, pretending she didn't see his hand linger too long when he handed back the change. But then Emma dropped a glass. It shattered, and so did the room's fragile calm. Nathan smirked. Guess clumsiness runs in the family. His hand shot out, gripping Emma's arm. The sound she made wasn't loud, but it was enough. Grace froze for 1 heartbeat. Then she moved. The tray hit the floor, the diner's chatter died. Grace's palm came down on Nathan's wrist so fast his smirk faltered. "Let her go," she said. The words low, controlled, but the kind of controlled that meant danger. He didn't. He shoved her. A chair scraped back. His friends laughed again until Grace pivoted, sweeping his leg out from under him in one motion that didn't belong in a diner. He hit the tile hard, the air gone from his chest. The men stared. So did Emma. For a moment, Grace wasn't a waitress. She was the soldier she used to be. And the tremor in her hands wasn't fear. It was memory. The police arrived minutes later, sirens cutting through the still night, but by then, Nathan was already sitting against the counter, clutching his bruised ego more than his jaw. Grace stood nearby, silent, her hands trembling again, not from rage, but from everything she'd kept buried for years. When the officers heard her name, their tone changed. Staff Sergeant Grace Walker, retired Army, decorated for valor. They hadn't known the woman serving coffee at a roadside diner had once commanded men who would have gladly taken a bullet for her. But she wasn't proud of what happened, only resolute. Violence, even in defense, left a stain she'd learned to hide. Later, as the flashing lights faded, she sat beside her daughter outside the diner, the air cold, stars faint above the buzzing sign. Emma looked at her mother differently now, not as someone who bowed her head to survive, but someone who had stood unshaken in war and still chose kindness. That night, the world saw a waitress. Emma saw a warrior. If this story moved you, remember, true strength isn't found in titles or wealth. It's in restraint, in standing tall when you've been pushed too far and still choosing to protect instead of destroy. Grace wasn't just a mother or a waitress. She was proof that heroes don't need uniforms to make the world safer. Every person you meet carries a story you can't see, a history carved from battles fought in silence. So before you judge someone by where they work or how they look, think twice. Some carry scars you'll never recognize because they've learned to hide their pain behind a quiet smile. Click the end screen to watch another amazing true cinematic story. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss a beat.